The origins of the wolf soldier concept and the world are incredibly exciting for me. They're very personal. Wolf Soldier actually is the first in the Lightraider Academy trilogy, which are 3 novels that novelize a game world from a 1984 game. This is one of the box sets. This is an original 1984 box set of Dragon Raid. It was an adventure learning system that was the most effective discipleship tool that I experienced as a teen, and the concepts and precepts from it followed me through my life. And now I am blessed and privileged to be the new developer and owner of the Lightraider's realm that is set in the original Dragon Raid world, and we're moving forward with new games and new stories, including Wolf Soldiers. So really excited to be creating new things in this world and carrying it forward to a new generation. So the foundation and pillars of the Lightraider's realm go back to the original system created by Dick Wolf for discipleship. And this actually is one of the original 1984 player handbooks that laid out the realm for the players. But we're talking about the foundation of the system being the Word, and then the 3 pillars being the armor of God, the fruit of the Spirit, and the sharing of the gospel. And we're all about equipping folks to understand and do those things. I think in our world, Connor would have a couple of favorite vacation spots that meet 2 sides or 2 needs for his personality. I think one would be Yellowstone, which is where we actually hired wolf trackers to go and follow the wolves with us and watch their behavior in preparation for writing the story, and all the excitement that's available there. But he'd also really just like to kick back and relax, which I think for that, Maui would be a great spot. So when I'm working from world to world, I try to isolate myself within that particular realm. So if I'm working in a spy world, I'm not reading spy books, I'm not reading military thrillers, I'm not watching spy movies. When I'm writing a mystery, I'm avoiding procedural mystery dramas and cozy mystery books. And when I'm working in a fantasy world, I avoid fantasy movies, other fantasy books. And that's hard for me because I'm a fan of all those genres, but I don't want any influence from those other genres influencing me when I'm actively writing one of those worlds. When I'm writing spy stories, my favorite drink is mocha coffee with the whipped cream and all the sugar and everything else that fuels me. But when I'm writing in the fantasy world, I have my own brew, and it actually makes its appearance in Wolf Soldier. I call it Brambleberry Cider. And there's some ginger ale, there's some grape, there's some apple juice, and it's all hot, and that keeps me going when I'm working in a fantasy world. Lightraider Academy is the focal point of the Lightraider's realm. It is a mountain enclave where they train the knights of the Lightraider Order to strike out into the Dragonlands of Tenelithar and rescue the oppressed who are facing all sorts of danger from the dragons and other dark creatures there. And for us, it's also the focal point of our ministry as we create tools like Wolf Soldier and others to train and equip folks to strike out into the world to rescue the lost. In fact, we actually had one of those, which is the First Watch card game. And the way we talk about this is the way that Lightraiders train for battle by memorizing scriptures and their applications. And each one has a fantasy application. So you can actually see the same fantasy applications at work in the story of Wolf Soldier when they use scripture memory verses from these cards called sacred verses. So pretty exciting, pretty fun with the Lightraider Academy world. My current favorite hobby is horseback riding. I haven't been able to do it a lot lately due to all the product launches and the growth in the Lightraider's realm, but really enjoy the time that I spend with those amazing creatures, just how smart they are, how gentle they are, and it's fun. It's fun to do as a hobby with my wife Cindy and work together as a family. I don't get stuck per se. I have so many ideas and so little time. So usually I just run out of time, but if I need to kickstart something and get the juices flowing, I go for a walk. I spend a lot of my riding time out on the road. Usually I'll do 4 miles per chapter. What I've got behind me here is my writing board, my organization board, and usually putting that together is the hardest part and making all the ideas flow. But with Wolf Soldier, it was the responsibility of taking a world that many people love. Dragon Raid in the 1980s touched more than 100,000 lives, and bearing the responsibility of taking that world and translating it into a novel series really weighed on me, and I'm so grateful to the original creator of the world, Dick Wolf, for writing a foreword for the book and giving it his seal of approval as he passed the torch to me. The Lightraider Academy trilogy is all about the rebirth of a knightly order. And the orders of chivalry, the rules and behaviors of chivalry are integral to the military life. So I drew that discipline. I drew from even some of the small unit tactics in creating this fantasy story. So even though it's set in a fantasy realm, worlds away, eras ago, you still have that relationship to that military experience. I'm a diehard fantasy fan and have been since I was a kid. That really hasn't changed. I mean, my favorite book is still The Horse and His Boy by C.S. Lewis. I still love the world of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I still love James Stoddard and his High House. So I don't think that has changed since I was a kid, and it's probably not going to change in the future. This is Crumpet. Crumpet is one of our paradragons. We have several, both real and slightly imaginary. And Crumpet is the smallest. She is a tailless orange paradragon. And the reason she is tailless is because someone who shall remain nameless may have eaten her tail, one of her friends. But Crumpet actually makes an appearance in Soldier. So she inspires us, as do her friends that live here in my office. Good morning and welcome to the last day of the FPEA Homeschool Convention in Orlando, Florida. We are here with Gavin and Dash. He is our Balin's Winter Paradragon from the Lightraider world. The most enjoyable part of writing Wolf Soldier goes along with the most enjoyable part of taking over the Lightraider's realm and moving it forward in not just the novels, but in the games. I'm continuing to live day by day in this fantasy realm that touched my life so deeply as a teenager, and I don't think I could ask for anything better.